always knew you were a pathetic piece of garbage. Get out of here.
What are you doing?
Oh, hey, Sinner. I was just playing Pokemon because I'm bored. Now I'm bored again. You know, I can kind of get an idea of why people are saying that the newer games are just easier with each generation as it goes on.
Or maybe it's because you're getting better at a game that wasn't really difficult to begin with, and the man babies on the internet just have something to cry about.
What are you talking about exactly?
You know what? I actually don't know. Why don't you try Nuzlocke instead? Those challenges are pretty popular these days.
Popular in the context that people will watch it, or popular in the context that those challenges are so overrated that no one will watch it these days?
I don't know. Anything to make the game more challenging?
Sure, I'll try one. You know what? I think I'm gonna give this thing a second chance.
Whatever. I'm getting something to eat. Man. The food choices that you have sucks, and oh my god!
Sinner, you're here!
Jux, what happened?
Well, the boss said he was gonna try, like, a Nuzlocke. But I think it broke him.
I didn't think Nuzlocks were gonna be this infuriating! I am given so few encounters and too much RNG BS to even consider beating the game! If people are saying that the Fire Rabbit truly is the best one to pick, then why did she lose to a Water Turtle? Why am I getting so emotional for Pokemon I barely use? I have to use my brain to win?
I think he's dead.
Either it was too difficult for him to handle it, or he's just as stupid as you. No offense.
Don't worry, Sinner. None taken.
This time I'll record another Nuzlocke, this time for the world to see for 100 subscribers.
Pokemon Nuzlocke. You guys all know what a Nuzlocke is, right? Oh, of course you do. It's one of the few popular challenges that'll make Jimmy's first video game to a never-ending nightmare of eternal suffering.
To an extent, obviously.
Just go online and search up what a Nuzlocke is. I'm sure you'll find at least one result. The rules of a standard Nuzlocke are simple. Number 1, you can only catch the first Pokemon you find per route. A sub-rule for this is called Dupe's Clause, which essentially means if you catch one species in one route and find the same member of its evolution family on the other route, you can retry and roll for a different Pokemon you don't already have. Number 2, you have to nickname every Pokemon you catch, regardless if it's something as basic as Jeff or something as stupid as Cheese. And number 3, if a Pokemon faints at all during battle, it dies and it must be placed in the PC box or have to be released. Essentially, you can't use it anymore. I will be playing Pokemon Sword for this challenge simply because I just feel more comfortable with these games than any other game, surprisingly. Yeah, I'll cry about it. And this was the game that got me back into the franchise after X and Y. Not that X and Y didn't bore me, is that I got burnt out by the franchise. I want to make this clear and address this right now. No, this is not my first Nuzlocke because I have attempted a challenge like this a few times in the past with several other games, and no.
I'm never gonna get YouTubers to react to this at this rate.
This will actually be my first recorded Nuzlocke as I actually live stream the run over at my YouTube channel. And also, it would be really cool if you guys can like the video, comment, subscribe to both Synerjex and Super Smash Bros. X number 10. I manage both channels. Or you can block and report me. It's your choice, your choice. I have named myself Ed, and the game starts off with a cutscene involving the champion Leon and his exhibition mats that literally no one cares about, and it cuts off to me sitting on my couch watching videos on my phone. I do not appreciate being called out Game Freak, and then some random stranger breaks into my house along with a sheep.
Oh god, that sheep's got a weapon!
I'm just kidding. This is Hop, our next door neighbor and rival who is also Champion Leon's younger brother. After going off into Redhurst and meeting Leon himself for the first time along with Game Freak's god that isn't Arceus or Bidoof, Charizard. We head back into Postwick and Leon introduces us to our potential partner Pokemon, Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble.
Now, picking your starter is the most important part of a Nuzlocke simply due to the fact that, well, it's gonna be the basis for your future team or what's to come, whether it be like the order of the gym leaders you have to deal with, the encounters you'll get. Most of that is pretty much by choice and situations. The ideal pick for a Nuzlocke would be a strong physical attacker, and depending on the gym leader's order, would have to determine by type, and one that is very, very adorable in its first stage, and it would evolve into something that will look cool by a lot of people, but it's not really something that people would be fond of, and to be honest, I really don't blame them for this scenario. A a Pokemon that is very valuable to a lot of people, and Pokemon that will be able to take one for the team unless it's necessary chance, and with powerful moves in its arsenal, it's Sobble.
Wait, why are you going with that pick of all that?
I don't understand why he's
That doesn't even make any sense in the context of what you said.
It makes
what?
no sense. Like,
I don't.
why not the
I don't
Fire
understand your
Rabbit? It
choices.
makes no sense.
Oh, grow up, guys.
The first gym is literally grass type. Why the hell would you pick a water starter for this? Because obviously Scorbunny's gonna be the better pick.
Say that to my face again and see what happens. If you're genuinely that upset over the starter I pick, you guys really need to consider your life choices.
That goes against everything you just said.
People trying to justify what starter they should pick and can't pick literally has the same justification value as Pokemon name pronunciations. Who cares?
Well then, what are you gonna do with the Scorbunny then, boss?
Give it to Hop?
After picking my favorite water boy, I decided to name him Winston and not the usual James Pond for the nickname. And why is that?
Because those jokes are done to death and are no longer funny.
Our first rival battle with Hop begins, and he sends out his Wooloo first. Winston takes it out with no issue. And next came his Scorbunny. I noticed that this pathetic piece of garbage was faster than Winston, but I expected something like this to happen simply due to its higher speed stat, or that I didn't take Winston's speed-lowering nature into consideration. But I've learned to deal with this kind of stuff. Listen, they didn't give me Quiet Sobble for me to soft reset for another one. No, I have to use it.
Learn to work with what you got, cowards. You know, unless there's bad natures, unneeded abilities, RNG, and critical hits, but my point still stands.
After pounding the bunny a few times, Hop Scorbunny took Winston into the red, and he finished it off with a torrent boosted water gun.
You see, I planned this.
Well, after that was over, Hop asked Leon if he was going to endorse us for the gym challenge, and all Leon had to say was,
You joined the gym challenge?
after some Wooloo got lost into the forest and some random ghost dog story shenanigans happened, I talked to my mom to tell her that I'm off on my journey, and she told me something meaningful.
Well, now, isn't Sobble just a sweetheart? She's speaking facts.
She gave us Pokeballs, and the Nuzlocke has officially started. As I traversed through Route 1, I ran into a little Wooloo, making her my first encounter. I catch it, and I named her Katie. And she almost immediately died to a Rookidee as I was trying to grind for XP. Off to a good start already. We met with Sonia and we dealt with a random Pokemon Center tutorial that lasted around, I'd want to say 15 seconds. I headed on into Route 2 to catch our next encounter. Meet Arbor the Seedot. After a few successful trainer battles and meeting Professor Magnolia, aka the most boring professor in all of Pokemon, Hop challenges us to a battle once again. He leads off with Wooloo and so do I. My Wooloo beats the imposter sheep effortlessly because Katie is the superior Wooloo. He sends out Scorbunny next and uses an Ember which procced the Oranberry that I gave Katie earlier. And for jokes and giggles, I decided to use Copycat and her own Ember did very little damage. You know, as expected. The next Ember from Scorbunny, of course, burns Katie and I switch into Winston. Our flames are burning bright. Now that's a neat line. Anyways, Winston makes sure he chokes the rabbit to death. Oh my god. I mean, use Bind to get at least some form of chip damage, and drown it with Water Gun. Attaboy Winston, you make me so proud! Rookidee is up next, and Winston finished it no problem. Two pebbles conveniently fall from the sky. Hop and I head into Webster Station, and he gives me the TM for Swift, which I taught to Winston, because his quiet nature gave him a bit of a higher special attack, so it just makes sense to give it to him over Pound. Sorry Winston, your days of pounding rabbits are over. I finally made it to the wild area and I decided to skip out on wild area encounters for now. Then I came across Breeder Chloe, an optional NPC trainer that you fight in the wild area that will pay you a decent amount of money, while finding her own set of the Galarian starters. I lead with Katie and she leads with her own Grookey. I didn't really pay attention to the levels, but once I saw that Tackle did very little damage to her level 13 Grookey with my level 9ish team, I knew I messed up. Oh lord. I swapped into Arbor to take at least some hits from the Grookey, and our only option for Arbor right now was to spam Growth to make it at least plus 6 before doing some damage back, and wait, how did he get to plus 6 already? Well yeah, our Sunlight. After a bit of Growth and Potion spamming, Arbor finally took out the Grookey.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I'm using healing items for this run.
Next came her own Scorbunny, and taking Hop's wise words about type advantages, I switched into Winston to bait out the Ember, to do little damage. Except it got a critical hit in the sun, which boosts up fire type moves. What is happening right now? Winston used this opportunity to choke Scorbunny to let it die solo. Use Bind to get chip damage off of every turn and drown it with Water Gun. Which I also forgot that the sun decreases water type moves. So for the rest of the fight, I had to resort to using Swift. And then, this happens.
Next set should kill. Wait, Torrent range! I forgot about Blaze range. No! No, 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 no. Oh no, 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 no. I don't want to lose my starter. No, 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 no. Waterfalls, it doesn't even matter. Oh, no, no. Ah! Winston! Winston! Oh my god! Winston saved himself! Winston! Winston, my boy!
After quickly recovering from that mini heart attack of nearly losing my starter, Chloe sends out her own Sobble and I swapped into Arbor to finish it off with a couple of growths, absorbs, and heal stalling. We managed to win this fight despite being under-leveled.
Wow. That was one of the most insane fights I've ever had in a Pokemon playthrough. And I'm not even at the first gym yet! He's not gonna survive this.
Hey, don't doubt me, I know what I'm doing!
We made it to Motostoke to get registered for the gym challenge. We meet Sonia in the Bidoof Inn, and she explains something about the Sword and Shield legend. A group of no-life losers by the name of Team Yell wanted to cause a ruckus for some reason, and Katie the Wooloo showed no mercy to those Nickit and Zigzagoons. Oh, and also Hop wanted to help out with his own Wooloo, so both of our sheeps go to town on the remaining Zigzagoons and Nickit. Wow, imagine losing to a couple of sheep, how pathetic can you be? And then the most boring rival in the entire game shows up, Marnie. She yells at Team Yell to screw off and go somewhere else. I decided to go back into Wedgehurst to get the Slowpoke encounter because I have the DLC expansion pack on my Switch. I caught the Slowpoke and I named her Patricia. And also, if you want to see me do the DLC expansion pass, let me know in the comments below, like the video and subscribe to this channel, and I'll provide more content, and maybe I'll do the Nuzlocke for the Isle of Armor, the Crown Tundra. Yeah, I'll do that. Hop wanted to fight us in Motostoke again, so I decided to send out Katie to fight out his own Wooloo, and for some reason, she wasn't doing so well. Katie was about to finish off the inferior Wooloo, but however, Hop healed him with a potion, and now I had to switch in Patricia to finish him off because the other Wooloo decreased Katie's attack too much and was about to take her title as the superior Wooloo. You win this round, Hop. Hop's Scorbunny was next, and it was Patricia's turn to euthanize the Scorbunny. Can you please stop that? Never! I mean, use Yawn to put it to sleep after 2 turns. Once the Scorbunny falls asleep, I sent out Winston to use Bind, and he's able to dodge while sleeping. What kind of RNGesus BS is this? Anyways, Winston managed to bind it this time, and the Scorbunny woke up just in time to die to a super effective Water Pulse. The same case with his Rookidee too. On the next round, I caught Lily the Gossifleur, Arbor involved in the Nuzleaf, and get it because this Pokemon inspired the name Nuzlocke or whatever, and Winston involving into Drizzile. Everything was going great, right? Well, except I realized something.
We don't have type coverage for the Grass Gym. Granted, we do have Acid on Patricia the Slowpoke, but that's not enough to take on the gym trainers, let alone the gym leader Milo.
I think the boss should have picked the Fire Rabbit instead.
Yeah, it almost makes you think of why the boss would insist on picking the Lizard starter in the first place. It's almost as if he's begging to lose. You're not helping, the both of you!
No, wait, but that's okay. We finally got the type advantage we need to take on Milo's Grass Gym. Meet Jeff the Woobat. The only reason why he's called that is because a viewer of mine stream wanted to name it. Well, I'm not good at naming things, so I might as well. Later on in the Galar Mine, we came across our next rival, Bead. He uses Psychic-type Pokemon, so I sent out Arbor to fight him because he was part Dark, and I managed to taunt him payback in the process. Before heading to Turf Field, we caught Johnny the Galarian Meowth. Then, we entered the Grass Gym, and Jeff the Woobat was a monster. He decimated every single Pokemon that came his way by using Attract to all the female Pokemon standing in our way, essentially simping for him because he is a handsome lad, and unleashing a bunch of wing attacks and confusions. Our next obstacle was Milo, the Grass-type gym leader. Milo sends out his own Gossifleur, and I sent out Jeff and spammed Air Cutter. And then Milo sends out his ace, Eldegoss. For whatever reason, I decided not to Dynamax because I thought the mechanic would make the game too easy, and I underestimated the power of Dynamax, Eldegoss, and this Max Strike immediately.
Yep, it's faster.
which unfortunately killed Jeff in the process. Our first death. I sent out Patricia to tank the rest of the max hits while Johnny finished the Eldegoss with a couple of Metal Claws, and we got our first badge. I thought we could do it without Dynamax, but clearly I couldn't without losing a Pokemon. Which is why I will use Dynamax until absolutely necessary, because my mind is telling me not to use Dynamax, and you know what, I decided to say screw it and stand by that role.
Spoiler warning, I used it for the league, but we'll get to it when we get to it.
Later on in the next route, we get 2 new encounters, Kyle the Swirlix and the Gift Toxel, which I named Sarah. We got a bike from this random guy who we saved from Team Yell, and we fight Hop once again. He sends out his Wooloo again, and I wanted to grind up Sarah, so she took out the Wooloo with no issue. And next came his newly evolved Raboot, and I swapped into Patricia to put it to sleep with Yawn and confused it with Confusion. Is it just me, or do I still not sit with Raboot's design? It's so confusing. Why did Game Freak have to give this thing a hoodie? And also, I thought people were supposed to be against Pokemon with clothes in its design, but yet culture is all trash simply because it has emo hair, but listen, at least hair is natural, and the fact that it has a sweater with the pockets in it really showcases how much of a hypocrites the Pokemon fans can be when it comes to the starter designs discussions.
Are you okay? Yeah, of course. Why do you say that?
Are you sure, boss? You're looking a bit unstable. Like me.
You know, you really shouldn't bash on a beloved starter's existence simply because you don't like it.
You don't understand, I have to hate on the popular stronger Pokemon to get clout!
I then switched into Winston to take out the Raboot with a Water Pulse, and rinse and repeat with Hop's last Pokemon, Corvisquire.
His name is because Winston... Okay, dude. Okay.
We headed into Hillbury in no time at all, and got a fishing encounter, Bertha the Red-Striped Basculin. I entered the water gym to start training Sarah.
Oh no. Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. I forgot it had Mud Shot.
And then she immediately died to a quad super effective Mud Shot from a Timpole. But I should be fine as I have Lily, who is now an Eldegoss, and Arbor to finish off the rest of the gym. I was fully confident that I could rely on Arbor to sweep Nessa's team with a +6 special attack from Growth and Mega Draining everything. And for those of you asking why I simply just didn't get the Leaf Stone to involve Arbor into Swift Tree before fighting Nessa, well, it's simply due to the fact that I used the Growth plus Mega Draining everything strategy with her Goldeen and Arrokuda, but her Dreadnought, I wanted to make sure I did at least one smart play and calculate her Dreadnought speed. Unfortunately, I thought I could outspeed, but I was looking at the wrong stats. On some random site calculated that wasn't even accurate, and the Dreadnought one-shots Arbor. Our second death. I sent in Patricia to stall out the rest of the max attacks, but she was one-shotted as well, this time to a max Darkness. I sent in Johnny to tank a max Geyser. He lived, but was later dead to a Razor Shell that outsped us. Lily was our only hope, and thankfully her Calm Down ability was able to slow down Nessa's Dreadnought, so that my only hope was to heal stall and Razor Leaf it enough times, and we eventually take it out, so that's all that matters, I guess. We had a moment of silence for the squad, but we moved on. I caught a Choodle in the second Galar Mines and named it Cheese. You know, it's funny because I caught a pre-evolved Pokemon of the same one that nearly killed our squad in the last gym match, so I think I'm sensing a pattern with this game. I fought Beat again, and I sent out Cheese to fight his team.
Oof, it's faster. I think another bite should be good. As long as it doesn't crit. Don't tell me that was a high roll.
And that's why I hate damage rolls. I swapped into Winston and he sucker punched the rest of Beat's team into oblivion out of pure rage. I knew our levels weren't at a reasonable level to fight Kabu's gym, so I grinded up the rest of the team, including Bertha the Basculin, Kyle the Swirlix, and Katie the Wooloo, while fighting Team Yell with Hop in the process. While fighting Railstaff Vincent and his Drillbur, I decided it would be a good idea for Katie to get some experience, but the Drillbur got 2 Hone Claws off getting to +2 attack and accuracy, and it's switching into someone else that could take it, and instead I'd leave Katie out in the open like an idiot, the Drillbur one-shotted Katie with a single dig. Things were, Not looking too good right now. Poor Katie, she was our first ever encounter and my second oldest team member up till this point, and she was supposed to claim her title as the superior Wooloo against Hop's own Wooloo, but now that's not gonna be happening anytime soon. Why does this game hate me so? We made it out of the cave and set eyes for our next encounter, a Noctowl. She almost kills Bertha in the process with an air slash, and I immediately swapped into Winston to tank the hits while I spammed Dusk Balls, and for whatever reason she wouldn't stay in the ball. But eventually I caught it and named her Longclaw, named after the owl that took care of Sonic from the first Sonic movie. The second Sonic movie was a masterpiece, by the way. Watch it now. Oh, and I also ran into Jeff the Woobat's evolved form, Swoobat, which sucks, I guess. We ran into Marnie, the most boring rebel in the game, and beat her easily with Longclaw and Kyle. I made it to the fire gym, and this is where we get our next encounter. Say hello to Jess the Litwick. We start the fight with Kabu, and I lead with Bertha while he leads with Ninetales. I started with Aquajet, and Ninetales uses Will-O-Wisp, burning Bertha in the process, which makes our attacks weaker after getting burned. Somehow I didn't know this beforehand. Is it because I'm stupid? Don't answer that, please. Bertha eventually took down the Ninetales and Kabu sent out Arcanine next, and after intimidating us, which lowers my attack, I swapped into Winston, who dodged a Will-O-Wisp and nearly drowned the dog with Water Pulse. Winston got flinched from a bite the next turn, but took it out with another Water Pulse the turn after. Then Kabu sent out his final Pokemon, Scorch. But I needed to sack someone who had the defenses to tank the max moves. Unfortunately, Lily the Eldegoss was the only one that had the defenses to tank it because I knew for a fact that Winston might not survive one more max move. She did not live, but I expected that to happen. Next, I switched into Kyle to sack, but he lived anyway. He unleashed one final Draining Kiss on the Scorch, which did nothing, and Kyle goes down. Now that the Gigantamax turns were over, I sent out Bertha to finish off the Scorch. But it smokescreened Bertha twice and lowered her accuracy, which unfortunately led to her demise as she missed Flail twice and Bug Bite kills her. Longclaw was our only chance to win the battle, and thankfully her Air Slash was enough to take down the Scorch. The third badge was ours. Oh wow, who knew the gym leaders had the balls to cheer me on the rest of the gym challenge since, oh I don't know, they killed a majority of our Pokemon? Bede shows up wanting to challenge Hop to a battle as I head straight into Hammerlock and found a trade NPC who was willing to trade Togepi for a Toxel. This meant I had to trade away Sarah's dead corpse for a new team member. But hey, I'll take what I can get. Welcome to the club, Snips. I headed to Route 6 and I ran into Team Yell, trying not to disturb the sleeping Silicobra by yelling at me. Why do these guys exist again? One of the grunts lead with Stunky that was level 29. Oh no. I swapped into Longclaw turn 1 and she set up Reflect while getting poisoned in the process. Thankfully she took out the Stunky and I switched into Winston because I had no way to heal Longclaw's poison against the second Pokemon, Linoon. And it starts setting up Hone Claws, so I had to spam Tearful Look to lower their attack, but Winston got hit pretty hard with a Night Slash. I healed Winston, but he took too much damage with Linoon's takedown. After a few more turns of Tearful Look, Hone Claws, and binds with Night Slash with Winston almost dying in the process, I had to send out Longclaw back out, and the Linoon's takedown put Longclaw in the red. I switched into Snips, but Night Slash did so much damage that I had to heal stall and use Yawn to put it to sleep so Longclaw can finally take out the Linoon. But it didn't even matter because the Linoon woke up as soon as I had the chance to attack and killed Longclaw with Takedown. How are you awake after one? Why is it that whenever I put Pokemon to sleep, they always somehow stay awake after one turn? After one turn! I sent out Snips again to use Yawn to put it to sleep again so I can use Ancient Power on it. The stupid thing woke up immediately and used Night Slash. Thankfully, the next Ancient Power took it out. We had to deal with the second grunt on our own because Hop didn't feel like fighting today and her Liepard was level 30 and we didn't get healed. Just great. So I had to heal myself, use Yawn to put it to sleep, spam Ancient Power, the stupid Liepard wakes up and has the audacity to use Sand Attack. I used one last Ancient Power and finally got the Omniboost, which raises every single stat of the user for those that don't know. Now I had to heal, yawn, and had to resort to using Metronome, in which you don't know allows the user to use a random move. After a few missed Metronomes later, a Metronome Excel Rock finally took out the Liepard. Ugh! Team Yell finally goes away and Hop goes on a rant on how sad he is after losing to Bede. I just lost a Pokemon and barely made it out of 2 battles under-leveled. How do you think I feel? Oh, and some old random lady shows up. I was in a tough spot because I am down to 3 Pokemon with trainers that are level 30 plus, which is higher than my current team level, like this trainer with a Clefairy and Clefable, whose move was Metronome, and I tried to get Jess to level up, but she kept missing Will-O-Wisp. Why? Anyways, we barely got out of there, and I decided to catch a Helioptile, which was a big pain to catch, and just get in the stupid Pokeball! I finally caught the Helioptile, and I named him Alex. This was the point of the run where everything needed to go well. No more mistakes. We only had a limited roster left, and I definitely was not ready to take on the 4th gym. So I decided to grind in my own time and get our fossil Frostbird, the Arctozolt, found a Sunstone in the wild area to evolve Alex into Heliolisk, over-leveled the hell out of my team to evolve Snips into Togetic, Jess into Lampit, and then Chandelure, and Winston into an Inteleon.
I pronounce it like that because I pronounce it like that.
Thankfully, the next top fight was easy. I mean, as usual. He leads with Cramorant this time and not Wooloo, but I decided to switch out Snips for Alex as he one-shots the Cramorant. Hop sends out a Silicobra next and I switched into Winston. The Silicobra went for Dig, so I switched again into Snips and decided to yawn the Silicobra. The Silicobra went for Glare and I went for a Rain Dance. Then I swapped into Winston again and then proceeded to one-shot every single one of his Pokemon that includes the Silicobra, Toxel, and drowned his stupid Raboot. Lie there and die, you piece of trash. I don't know why people like you. After overleveling my Pokemon a bit more into the 40s, I decided that Snips, Jess, and Winston, specifically Snips and Jess, would be the rising stars against the fighting type gym leader B. After making it through the gym with no casualties, it's time to take on B. She leads with Hitmontop and I lead with Snips. I yawned the Hitmontop and swapped into Jess. After a single Shadow Ball, Hitmontop woke up and couldn't do anything to me. The second Shadow Ball knocks it out and B sends out Pangoro next. I knew I had to switch because this thing was part dark and it could easily take out Jess if I'm not careful, so I decided to switch into Snips. Night Slash did crit, but thankfully Snips took it like a champ. I yawned the Pangoro and started heal stalling again. Used Ancient Power in hopes for an Omni Boost, but I didn't get it, so I used Fairy Wind instead and destroyed the Pangoro. Why didn't I go for that the first time? Anyways, B sends out Surfetched. I decided to go for Yawn again and decided to go for Fairy Wind, which did over half. Thankfully, Surfetch'd didn't wake up and the next Fairy Wind did knock it out. And then B sends out Hermachamp and Gigantamaxes it. After overanalyzing the Cerebi page and the gym leaders and checking the correct damage site calculator for a few minutes, I switched into Jess to bait out the Max Strike, which Jess is immune to. After several more minutes of overthinking, I decided to go for Minimize. Jess tanks a super effective Max Darkness like a mad lass that she is. I healed Jess and wasted the Machamp's last turn of Dynamax, and Jess lives on 5 HP, once again proving to be the total mad lass. I switched into Snips again and used, you guessed it, Yawn, and took it out with 3 Fairy Winds. We finally beat a gym leader without losing a single Pokemon. The 4th badge was ours. Sonia meets up with us again and B destroys some random mural that we had to fight him again, and which thanks to the power of being babies and overleveling, we took out his team, no problem. Rose and Oleana shows up to tell B that it was wrong to take Caparaja and destroy the mural. Of course, B doesn't care, and in response, Chairman Rose tells B that he should be removed from the gym challenge for disrespecting one of Galar's pieces of history. The mural gets destroyed and Sonia gets a brain blast and finds out that the heroes were 2 Sword and Shield Pokemon. I mean, who even cares for Pokemon stories anyways, let's just move on. Our next encounter in the Glimwood Tagle was Jury-Rig the Impidimp, and he immediately evolves into Morgrem. I headed into the Balloonly gym and fought a bunch of trainers while answering a bunch of questions, which I definitely did not look up the answers to, so don't even bother asking me if I cheated. And then we fight Gym Leader Opal. She leads off with Galarian Weezing and I lead with Winston. I go for a Rain Dance and the Weezing goes for Sludge, poisoning Winston, but he easily beats it with a Rain boosted Mystic Water boosted Snipe Shot. I knew I was going to have to heal the poison eventually, and I did that while taking 2 crunches from the Mawile, while the third gave Winston a defense drop, but that's okay, he one-shots the Mawile. Next came her Togekiss, and of course, Winston's Snipe Shot kills the Togekiss and sends out Alcremie, her last Pokemon. She Gigantamaxes it, and Winston one-shots the Giant Cake. Winston's a beast! One child harassed by Old Lady later, I head onto Route 7 to get her to our next rival battle with Hop. He leads with Trevenant, and I swapped out immediately since I may or may not have accidentally led with Winston, and Frostbird comes out and takes out the Trevenant. Then he sends out his next Pokemon, Synerjex.
What the f am I looking at? What is that?
You guys already know I hate this thing. It's my least favorite starter in the entire franchise. I mean, can you blame me? It looks like if Bugs Bunny in the horrific 2019 movie Sonic had a one-night stand while watching a game of soccer, on drugs and possibly drunk, and then this abomination came out the womb 9 years later. And people want to call Inteleon a trash-looking Pokemon, while they're clearly blind, and to add salt to the wound, Game Freak decided to give this thing the hidden ability Libero, which was literally Furry Greninja, which makes no sense at all in my eyes, and just as an excuse to peel those types of people on the internet. And never in my life would I ever get mad at a starter Pokemon for not only looking ugly, but making it the strongest out of the 3 Galarian starters. And the fact that people would dare to compare this thing with Inteleon, and then, for the love of God, proceed to...
Dude, what? Dude, again?
You're freaking out over a bunch of fictional creatures.
Yeah, like, who threw up in your cereal this morning? Put your hand down, Jax.
Well, it's not my fault I hate this thing.
Well, if anything, you should read this packet to see why Synerjex is objectively better and stronger than the other 2 starters.
Where's the I don't care section?
I think I should try to calm down and not think about it too much, because I think the last time I was involved in anything regarding Inteleon and Cinderace, I think I wanted to blow my brains out. He sends out Boltund next, and I swapped into Jury-Rig, and lo and behold, it roared and Jess was sent out. I tried to go for Shadow Ball, but forgot this Boltund had Crunch. Thankfully, I O-code the Boltund with the Shadow Ball. Heatmore's up next, and I swapped into Winston to not take any chances. I spent the next couple of turns to heal Winston of his paralysis and beat it with Liquidation. Next up was a Snorlax, and Snipe Shot took more than half health. Body Slam hits and does a decent chunk of damage, but thankfully the next Snipe Shot brings the big boy Snorlax down, which got a crit that didn't even matter, but hey, credit where credit is due.
Come on, something good. Carablast! We can't even use this thing without evolving. Are you kidding me?
And you're directly in front of you, you will see a failure.
Our Route 7 encounter was a Carablast. Carablast. Which I did not want, but I caught it anyways and I named her Failure. But thankfully our next Route 8 encounter was Chris the Sandaconda. I remembered to get the Leaf Stone in Turffield this time, hey, better late than never, and evolved my Onion into a Vileplume, in which I got, as well as a few other max rate encounters that I've gotten off stream. I also grabbed the Shiny Stone and evolved Snips into a Togekiss. Oh, and random side note, but while I was grinding for more team members to get them leveled up and whatnot, I was fighting this dude with a Togedemaru, and my brain was too dumb to realize that it was part electric, and I sent out Winston, and he, almost died in the process. I'm sorry, Winston, I'll never do that again. And Jury-Rig evolved into a Grimmsnarl. We finally made it to Sir Chester to fight the Rock-type gym leader, Gordy. He sends out Barbaracle and I lead with Onion, who one-shot it with Giga Drain. Next came his Shuckle and I sent out Winston, and I set up Rain Dance. The Shuckle goes for a Rock Tomb, and Snipe Shot nearly one-shots it, and Winston was in -2 speed thanks to the other Rock Tombs that he got hit with earlier. Next came his Stone Journer, and I was scared that Winston wasn't going to outspeed it because of the Rock Tube, and lo and behold, Winston was slower. Since I only had one turn of Rain Dance left against Gordy's Colossal, I was not confident that Winston was going to live at least one max hit, or at the very least outspeed it, so I had to make the decision to send it to Chris to tank the G-Max Volcalith. I tried to go for Dig, but even that couldn't do half despite being quad weak to ground. Unfortunately, Chris dies to the next Volcalith. Thankfully, that meant Winston was able to finish the job with one more Snipe Shot, and the 6th badge was ours. Rest in peace, Chris. We barely used ya. The next rival fight with Hop begins, and he leaves with Double Wool, while I led with Jury-Rig and I used Brick Break, while Double Wool used Double Edge. The next Brick Break takes it out. Next came his Snorlax, and I did not take into account that he has Heavy Slam, which was super effective against Jury-Rig. So I swapped into Jess to tank the next Heavy Slam, and her Flame Body activates. However, her Inferno missed and had to take the super effective Crunch. Thankfully it was non-stabbed and he was burned, but got a defense drop. Thankfully her next Inferno hit, but did almost nothing, and Hail took Jess into the red, so I had to switch into Winston. While Hop thinks he's so smart in healing Snorlax with a Hyper Potion, but I outsmarted him by using Rain Dance instead. Thanks to the boost of the Rain, Mystic Water, and Snap Snipe Shot, I was able to successfully OHKO the Snorlax, Pincurchin, Cinderace, and Corviknight. The good news is we found a Pelipper as our Route 9 encounter. What's the bad news? It didn't have Drizzle, so don't expect Pepper to be useful at all. Team Loser's back and I swept their team with Brick Break Jury Rig and got the water upgrade for our bike. The next rival fight with boring girl known as Marnie commences and she sends out Lipard as her lead. I led with Jury Rig and he one-shots it with Brick Break. Toxicroak is up next and I swapped into Snips and takes it out with an Air Slash. She sends out more Pecco and I swapped into Jury Rig to take a couple of sparks and then Spirit Break takes it out. Scrafty's out next and I use the turn to heal and I try to use Scary Face to slow me down, but that didn't even matter because Spirit Break takes it out and we win. The Spike Muth gym was a simple gauntlet through Team Loser with Jury Rig one-shotting everything in his path, and next up is Gym Leader Piers. He sends out Scrafty first, and I left with Jury Rig, and the Scrafty intimidates and fakes out Jury Rig while I try to take him out with a Brick Break and Spirit Break. Obstagoon is up next, so I swapped into Snips and Fairy Wind does over half, but the Obstagoon kept using Obstruct and Fairy Wind eventually took it out. Malamar was up next and it lived on 1 HP from a Fairy Wind, but thankfully an Ancient Power takes it out next. No Omni Boost. Dang it. The last Pokemon was Skuntank and 2 Fairy Winds were enough to take it out. The 7th badge was ours. Next up was Raihan's gym, and the double battles were surprisingly difficult, but we managed to beat it just fine and just kept missing Inferno. Get it together, girl! But thankfully, Ancient Power the next Inferno took out the Abomasnow. Next was Raihan himself. He leads with Flygon and Gigalith while I led with Winston and Snips because it was a double battle. I started with Rain Dance and Fairy Wind almost takes out the Flygon and Gigalith went for Stealth Rock. Thankfully Snipe Shot took out the Gigalith and Fairy Wind took out the Flygon. Next was his 2 final Pokemon, Sandaconda and Duraludon. I swapped into Jury Rig to at least tank some hits, but Raihan Gigantamaxes Duraludon and kills Jury Rig with a Max Steel Spike. Winston was able to take out the Sandaconda, but it activated Spit Sand and got rid of the Rain Dance. I swapped into Snips again to heal it and used Snipe Shot to get it over half damage, which did crit by the way, but used Max Steel Spike and Max Rock Falls on Snips, which he lives. Duraludon was out of Dynamax turns and Winston Snipe Shots to Duraludon, and all 8 gym badges were ours. Now, it's time for the league. We head on to Route 10 for our final main game encounter before the league, which was a Cubchoo. Unfortunately, Winston thought it would be funny to knock out the Cubchoo because thanks Winston, we definitely didn't need another Ice-type coverage on our team. Anyways, we went through one last gauntlet before the league and just keeps missing her Infernos. Why? And I came across our last double battle before Winden. Everything was going smoothly, right? Well... Oh wait. He tanked it! Oh, we got paralyzed, but that's okay, we have a full restore. Oh, I keep forgetting about the steel. Oh my god. No! I should have swapped out. Snips was taken down, but a gear grind from the Klinklang and the thunder from the Heliolisk. Our highest level team member. Gone. Jess was able to take out the Klinklang with her Inferno, and Onion took out the Heliolisk. I needed Jess to unleash her Inferno one last time to take out the Togedemaru. Are you kidding me? That's why I hate low accurate moves. And to top it off, she gets nuzzled parried by the Togedemaru, but thankfully the Shadow Ball hits. I sent out Frostbird, and the news reporter sent out Noivern. I just need Jess to hit. What?
What the f?
And just like that, Jess goes down to stupid RNG. Frostbird was able to take down the Noivern with an Avalanche, but I needed Onion to attack the Togedemaru, and thankfully a Thundershock knocked it down. Wow, a Thundershock of all moves. This is absolutely devastating. Why? Because now we have 0 coverage and we have nothing for the league. Too many times our best team members have to take the fall, and there was no way I was going to be able to beat the league at this rate. Our current team wasn't going to be enough. We needed more team members, so I went back to previous routes to grab the rest of the encounters I couldn't access before and plan out the next course of action to take.
You know what this means, guys? You're going to reconsider your life choices?
Can we eat food? I'm getting kind of hungry.
No. Looks like we're gonna have to do a montage.
Jex, will you stop ripping pages off the calendar?
Okay, fine.
After a few months of not streaming the Nuzlocke, I took my time to able to construct our new team before going into the league. Take a look at our updated squad. I essentially said screw it and allowed myself to Dynamax at the league because I deserve it, god dang it, I just want to beat the game already. So without wasting any more time, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final frontier. The first fight is with Marnie in the semifinals. She leads with Liepard and I lead with Goku the Sock. I knew for a fact that Liepard had Fake Out, so I decided to switch into Bellwood the Bronzong. I'm gonna swap into Bronzor because she's gonna bait out Fake Out. Oh wait, she doesn't Fake Out? That's weird. I thought it would go for Fake Out literally first turn. So that did not go according to plan, so I swapped back into Goku. She Nazi plots twice, but thankfully Brick Break one-shots. And yes, I did turn on Switch mode because at this rate I don't care anymore, man. I just want to beat the game. If this doesn't count as an official Nuzlocke run, so be it. Ace Scrafty's up next, and I swapped into Abby the Sarina, and 2 Draining Kisses were enough to take it out. Toxicroak was next, and Bellwood Psychic one-shots it. Morpeko was next, and I had Milo the Mammoth to knock it out. But the bite flinched Milo and was able to use the Earthquake the next turn. Then she sends out her own Grimmsnarl. I miss Jury-Rig, you guys. I miss him a lot. Barney Gigantamaxes her Grimmsnarl and goes... This is all happening so fast, so... Oh, no wait. You're faster. Okay, so...
Oh! Wait. Wait a minute. Did Goku slip?
Yeah. That's right. Focus Sash and Counter Sock. The oldest trick in the book. Victory was ours. Our next semifinals match was with Hop, and he leads with Double, and Sock was able to take it out with a Bulk Up and a Brick Break. Corviknight was next, and I swapped into Firefox the Ninetales and killed it with the Flamethrower. Snorlax came in, and I tried to use counters with Goku, and Heavy Slam did a lot less than I thought it was going to be, but hey, a few counters were enough to take it out. I sent out Milo to take out the Pincurchin, and I used Stealth Rocks and Earthquake. Last was his Cinderace, and even with Dynamax, Snipe Shot with Winston was enough to take out the Furry Abomination to the Shadow Realm. Yeah. I didn't even need to Dynamax here. Ugh, I hate Cinderace's Dynamax cry. I hate it. And its cry in general. No hard feelings, Hop. Lot time! Oleana sends out Frostless, and I lead with Milo, and she uses Will-O-Wisp while I use Stealth Rock. I swapped into Firefox to knock it out with Flamethrower. Milotic came up next, and I swapped into Abby to use a Trop Kick, and it was enough for a one-shot. Salazzle was next. She has her own Sarina, and with the power of the web browser, Flamethrower takes it out. Her last Pokemon was Garbodor, and we both Dynamax our own Pokemon. She goes for Max Rockfall, and I go for a crit Max Steel Spike, and the next Max Steel Spike takes it out. Bede is back, and he sends out Mawile, and I set up Stealth Rock with Milo. The Mawile used Iron Head and took over health, but I finished it with Earthquake. Next was Gardevoir, and I sent out Bellwood and used Light Screen, and the Gardevoir was faster and couldn't really do anything, but Heavy Slam knocked it out, as well as the Rapidash. Next up was his Hatterene, and we both Dynamaxed our Pokemon, as I go for Max Steel Spike, and it did a one-shot, and he used Max Flare, which did nothing thanks to Light Screen, and I guess his bulky defense and special defense, and the next 2 Steel Spikes takes out the G-Max Hatterene. While Nessa was fairly easy, so there's nothing really much to talk about, but B was a big tricky because I thought it would be a good idea to lead with Frostburst because Hawlucha had the high jump kick and I had a Bright Powder which lowered the accuracy of a move, and high jump kick was a low accurate recoil move if it was missed, but unfortunately it did landed. Well, at least Frostburst served its purpose. I swapped into Bellwood to land a Psychic. Oh, but look at that, Hawlucha did miss the high jump kick. Why couldn't you do that the first time, huh? Surfetch was next, and it had Brutal Swing. Oh my god, that did almost half. Thankfully, I reflected. But then it had Brick Break, which destroys the reflect screens. Psychic almost one-shots and beat full restores. I went for Psychic again. It lived on 1, but got a special defense drop. But it didn't even matter because I got cocky and clicked on Psychic again, knowing full well I didn't outspeed and Bellwood died to a Brutal Swing. A crit Brutal Swing. Phalanx was fairly annoying to take out, but thankfully Abby was able to two-shot it with some Draining Kisses. Grapple was next, and the 2 flamethrowers from Firefox were enough to take it out. Next was Machamp, and because I knew it was a Gigantamax Machamp, I swapped into Goku to take some max hits. Goku does indeed tank the G-Max Chi Strike. I full restore Abby, and tanks another G-Max move despite Machamp getting a critical hit boost. I decided to heal stall Goku, and this time it went for Max Strike, and the G-Max turns were over. I swapped into Abby and she got half damage crit by Cross Chop, so I had to Dynamax in hope that she was faster. She was, but Max Starfall only did half damage even with the Pixie Plate that I gave her earlier, and she tanks a Fire Punch. The next Max Starfall took it out. Next was the last member, Raihan. He sent out Torkoal and I led with Winston. I knew his Drought ability was gonna be activated, so I used Rain Dance, but he outsmarted me by using Yawn. Clever Turtle. I swapped into Milo to tank whatever hit comes by, and Body Slam does half damage to Mamoswine. Thankfully, Earthquake outspeeds the next turn and knock out the Torkoal. Next, I sent out Lois the Drapion against the Turtonator to heal Milo, and it had Sunny Day. I protected, but the Turtonator had Shell Trap, so it didn't matter, and I swapped back to Milo. I may have gotten cocky again, and the Earthquake didn't even kill, hoping for a crit, but it didn't, and Shell Trap returned double damage, and it killed Milo.
No more mistakes from here on out, huh? I got cocky and greedy, okay?
Thanks to his Turtonator, I have 0 ice types to counter the rest of his team. I brought back Lois to chip away with Cross Poison while he full restored and almost killed Lois in the process, so I sent out Firefox and I decided to nasty plot while the Turtonator uses Sunny Day. 2 flamethrowers were enough to take it out. Then he sent out Flygon and the Sandstorm activates. 2 counters from 2 Earthquakes were enough to take out the Flygon. Goodra was next, and my plan was to bait Goodra into using Rain Dance to get rid of the Sandstorm, so I can safely send out Winston and hopefully his Snipe Shots might do some damage back.
Water moves.
No!
Wait!
Son, always remember, dying is cringe.
He lived!
Oh my god!
I thought he was going for Rain Dance! Somehow, my boy Winston lives a super effective Thunder. To prevent any further casualties, I decided to switch into Abby because she's the only one that would be able to withstand a chance against the Goodra. I'd full restored my other team members, and now the Goodra went for Rain Dance, and I decided to use Seed Bomb. And the Goodra has Sap Sipper, an ability which increases attack when the user is hit with Grass-type moves, being immune to it as a result. Now the only option was to spam Draining Kisses until this thing was done. It went for Rain Dance again, and I decided to switch into Lois to tank some serves, but it did too much damage to matter. So I swapped back into Abby, and I had no choice but to Drain Kiss it and flail it into oblivion. Finally, the Duraludon comes out, and I sent out Goku. Duraludon goes for Max Knuckle, and it did less than I thought, so I couldn't one-shot it with counter. Okay, we counter again, and we won, and we... I don't know if we can live another attack.
Goku!
No!
I swear.
Oh wait, and the attack boost. I forgot about the attack boost.
Oh no!
I forgot about the attack boost. Why did I think he could live? Goku goes down thanks to the stupid attack boost, and I brought Lois back in to protect the next turn against the G-Max depletion. And I swapped into Firefox, she tanked a Dragon Claw, and thankfully, Flamethrower was enough to knock out the Duraludon. Story time again! After Chairman Rose interrupts the match and unleashed a bunch of G-Max energy, Hop and I went back to the Slumbering Wheel to find the Sword and Shield legendaries, and I ran into my last encounter, Galarian Wheat. I ran into my last encounter, Galarian Wheat. I ran into my last encounter, Galarian Wheezing, and I named him Gutrot.
I don't care, okay?
We now fight Chairman Rose, and I knew for a fact that our girl Firefox would be the rising star in taking on Chairman Rose's Steel-type Pokemon.
Wouldn't it just be an easy sweep if you had Cinderace? Get out.
Now we fight Eternatus. After some assistance from Zacian and Zamazenta, Firefox used Will-O-Wisp to burn Eternatus, and she also delivered the final blow with Flamethrower. Oh, we're not out of the woods just yet. We still have one final battle against Champion Leon. This is our final squad. Let's do this. Aegislash was first, and I led with Firefox. He goes for King Shield turn 1, and I go for Nasty Plot. Flamethrower one-shots on the next turn. Haxorus was up next, and I knew for a fact that it had Earthquake, so I had to switch into Gutrot, but I completely forgot that Gutrot was also weak to ground, so I full restored Gutrot, and then I went for Iron Tail, and I was getting a bit stuck. So after heal stalling a few turns, I swapped into Emily the Grapple Locked, and she tanked an Earthquake. Sadly, Haxorus went for Outrage the next move, and it killed Emily. Haxorus tries to Outrage again, but it did nothing, and Strange Steam knocks it out. Rhyperior is next, and I decided to switch into Xylene, and she tanked a Heat Crash, but unfortunately not quite tanked a quad-effective Mega Horn. I had to send out Gutrot next, but he couldn't survive the stab Earthquake. I had to pull out the big guns. My only solution was to Dynamax Winston, and he crits one-shots with Max Geyser. Next is Dragapult, and it outspeeds and uses Thunderbolt. The Max Geyser puts it at half health, but the next Thunderbolt paralyzes Winston, but thankfully, the final Max Geyser knocks out the Dragapult. Knowing well I am not outspeeding the Rillaboom, and it's definitely going for drum beating, I swapped into Firefox to bait out the Grass move and— Psych! Why do you have high horsepower? Oh, did I say drum beating? No, I meant high horsepower. What even is the AI in this game? So I healed Firefox, but high horsepower got her into the red this time, so I had to heal again. Now he went for drum beating, and now I had the chance to heal Winston, and high horsepower misses, and 2 flamethrowers finally killed the Rillaboom. Finally, Leon sends out his last Pokemon, Charizard, and my plan is to stall out the Gigantamax turns by heal stalling. Not the best strategy, but come on, I had to do what I had to do. Charizard goes for 3 consecutive Max Rock Falls, and Firefox lives thanks to potion spamming, and I finally wasted the G-Max turns. I used a full restore one last time, and the Charizard goes for Ancient Power. The Sandstorm will go away after one more turn, so I had the chance to sack off Failure the Carablast. Rest in peace, Failure. I guess you weren't useless after all. Once the Sandstorm went away, it was Winston's time to shine. He used Rain Dance while Charizard powers up a Solar Beam, and I did not take into account that Charizard was faster, even though I thought for sure Winston would have outsped it, but whatever. And then—
Oh no.
Oh god!
oh, he tanked it. That's fine. Come on, rain boosted, rain boosted. We're rain boosted. Let's go! Let's do this! We won!
Oh my god!
Yes! We did it!
Wait! You beat the Pokemon Sword Nuzlocke!
Yes! That's right, I beat the champion with my starter. I beat it with an Italian. For those who said Italian sucks, screw you guys. He's been with me since the very beginning. This was an incredible journey. And gotta be honest, I didn't really fully appreciate Nuzlocke until doing some myself. It was definitely a fun challenge, but it wasn't without its issues. After other Nuzlockes online like AlphaRad's Fire Red Nuzlocke, Jaden Animation's Ruby Nuzlocke, Pokemon Challenge's Emerald Kaizo Nuzlocke, Patters's Renegade Platinum Nuzlocke, and so many others has inspired me to not only just do Nuzlockes, but finish at least one of them. Of course, there were millions of different ways that this Nuzlocke could have gone a lot smoother and manageable. But hey, you live and learn. I now fully respect anyone that does Nuzlockes, especially playing with the hardcore rule set. Now, let's go through a final memorial of all of our fallen members in this Nuzlocke. Jeff the Woobat, Sarah the Toxel, Arbor the Nuzleaf, Patricia the Galarian Slowpoke, Johnny the Galarian Meowth, Cheese the Choodle, Katie the Wooloo, Lily the Eldegoss, Kyle the Swirlix, Bertha the Red Striped Basculin, Longclaw the Noctowl, Chris the Sandaconda, Juryrig the Grimmsnarl. The two that hurt the most for me were Snips the Togekiss and Jess the Chandelure. Frostbite the Arctozolt, Bellwood the Bronzong, Milo the Mamoswine, Goku the Sock, Emily the Graplocked, Xylene the Malamar, Gutrot the Galarian Weezing, and last but not least, Failure the Carablast. And then there were two, Firefox the Ninetales and Winston the Inteleon. The Synerjex Pokemon Sword Nuzlocke is over. Well, at least until I do post-game and DLC.
So, that's that, huh?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if I'll ever consider doing like the DLC or the post-game. I mean, as long as if this video goes well and I actually get enough clout for people to start caring about my channel, sure, why not?
Yeah, it's great to see your commitment towards a Pokemon Nuzlocke, boss.
You know, I'm actually a little impressed that you're able to complete the entire game with your starter still alive.
What can I say? Winston's the Chad. So what if people complain that the games will get easier within each generation as they come out? It doesn't matter. They buy them and milk the challenges out of them anyway.
And if the games are still too easy?
Then they go outside and Nuzlocke reality with life choices on the line.
Jax, I don't think you understand how this works.
Oh, I never understand how anything works.
Alright everybody, this was it for the Synerjex Pokemon Sword 100 subscriber special, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe on the way out, and let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a continuation of this series regarding the DLC, post-game, so on. Maybe a bunch of challenges before Scarlet and Violet comes out. Anyways, I'll see you all next time.